Welcome back, friends. Earlier, we have learned about the concept of forfeiture, and once a cancellation of shares is happened, sometimes the company may reissue such shares. Such shares means forfeited shares, and the reissue may be in the form of par, in the form of premium, and today we will discuss the reissue of forfeiture of shares at discount. Next area, reissue of forfeited shares at discount. I believe we all know the concept of forfeiture, or what is meant by forfeited shares, and reissue. Forfeiture means cancellation of shares held by any of the shareholders, and it happens when any of the shareholder failed to pay any of the installment money. Ultimately, that will lead to cancellation of his or her share, and the same shares may be reissued to the public. Not the same shareholder, it may be reissued to some other shareholders. That is known as reissue of forfeited shares. And previously we learned reissue of forfeited shares at premium, at par, and today we will discuss about discount. It is almost similar to the concept of issue of shares at discount. The only thing you have to bear in mind that whenever you are reissuing, that is reissuing forfeited shares at discount, the amount of paid up or the discount which you are going to offer on such shares should not fall beyond the amount actually received on such shares from the previous shareholder. I'm sure that you didn't understand anything. Don't worry. While the discussion of the theoretical aspect, you will get the clear picture. So let us discuss in detail. When forfeited shares are reissued at a discount, the discount on reissue should not exceed the amount paid on such shares by the original holder. That is the thing you have to keep in mind while reissuing a forfeited share. With the example, you will get a clear picture. A share of rupees 10 on which rupees 4 has been received till its forfeiture. It can be reissued as fully paid up at an amount not less than 6, that is 10 minus 4, and if you are reissuing the same as 8 rupees paid up, an amount not less than 4, that is 8 minus 4, should be received from the person to whom the reissue is made. Let us dig up in detail what the paragraph meant. A share of rupees 10 the company might have forfeited that share, and the value of that share is 10, on which 4 has been received. That means 6 is not paid by the shareholder, so ultimately his shares were forfeited and the company is going to reissue the forfeited share. The thing is, the company has received payment for rupees 4 but didn't receive 6, and the company is going to reissue the same. So whenever the company is reissuing the same, if it is reissuing as fully paid up means if the company is reissuing the same for rupees 10, the company can reissue the same for 10, 8, 11, any value. If the value is the base value or the face value, we can say that reissue of forfeited shares at par. If the value of the reissued share is less than the face value, we can say reissue of forfeited share at discount. That is the concept which we are going to learn today. And if you are reissuing the same, that is the forfeited shares at a value greater than the face value, that is known as reissue of forfeited shares at premium. We have learned about the par concept and the premium concept in the previous sessions. So right now we were discussing value of the share is 10, 4 received, 6 cancelled. That is the present scenario. And a company is going to if the company is reissuing the same at rupees 10, the company should maintain the amount not less than 6. I'll explain the concept once more. The value of the share is 10. If the company can reissue the same at any value, it can either issue at 10, or it can issue at 8, or it can issue at 6, or it can issue at 12. Here, if the company is reissuing as fully paid up, the value should not go beyond 6. See, because earlier the company has already received 4, so the company want to collect the remaining 6. For that purpose only the company is reissuing. So the company should at least put the value or the price of the new issue at rupees 6, because 6 was the amount that the company didn't collected previously. So in order to recoup that amount, the company must reissue the shares at that particular value. It should not go beyond. If the company is reissuing at rupees 5, then what is the gain? Because company didn't receive rupees 6 from the first person, and if the company is again reissuing for rupees 5, again there will be a loss of rupees 1. So the company, if they are issuing as fully paid up any value, let it be any value, it should not go beyond 6, because 6 was the amount which was not received by the company. It should not go beyond 6. Beyond 6 means fall beyond 6. And if the company is reissuing at rupees 8, the company must collect at least rupees 4, because earlier the company has received 4. If the company is again reissuing at a certain value, here we are discussing the example of 8, and if they are getting a value less than 4, then what is the gain with the reissue? Earlier the company received 4 and they reissued the same for some another value. In the second case also, the company has received an amount lesser than the previous situation. So what is the benefit? So the thing is, whenever you are reissuing a forfeited share, the amount collected from the second situation means whenever the company is reissuing those forfeited shares, the company must make sure to collect the amount. At least the actual amount received should be collected by the company. But most of the situation, the company will be intended to collect the more than the actual value received, because here at the beginning the company received 4. The next intention should be the company should not reissue the same at a value less than 4. And if they are reissuing at higher value, the company should not fall beyond rupees 4, because whenever the company is receiving if they are reissuing and receiving an amount less than rupees 4, then there is no gain. That is the main concept with regard to this paragraph. Here we are discussing with the two different examples. I hope you have understand the concept. If you have any queries with that, please let me know. So that is the concept. While discussing the practical case, you will get a clear picture regarding that. Let us go to the next one. The journal entry with regard to reissue of forfeited shares at discount. Bank account debtor, the amount received on reissue. Share forfeited account debtor, here you will show the amount of discount allowed. That is the concept. Discount amount will be shown here. And finally to share capital, because we have reissued the shares. So bank account debtor, share forfeited account debtor to share capital, total amount of shares issued or reissued. And don't forget to pass the necessary narration for each of these entries. And next important note, the issue value may be fully paid value or partly paid value. That is, here the example case, 10 was the actual face value. Fully paid means it may be issued at 6 fully paid, or it may be reissued at 7 fully paid. Fully paid means full amount will be received. The issue value may be fully paid value or partly paid value, depending. That means 10 may be the value of the shares, and out of which 8 may be called up likewise. So that is known as partly paid. The issue value may be fully paid value or partly paid value depending upon the decision regarding the reissue. That is the example we have discussed here. Here one is 6 fully paid and here 8 badly paid like that. Second one, the share forfeited account is debited so as to bear the amount of discount allowed on reissue. The company already prepared the share forfeited account because before the reissue the company has cancelled it. That is known as forfeiture. So at the time of forfeiture of shares, the company already prepared a share forfeiture account, and the discount allowed on the reissue will be also adjusted in the share forfeiture account. That is why we have shown here share forfeiture account in order to show the discount amount allowed. The share forfeiture account is debited so as to bear the amount of discount allowed on reissue. After all forfeited shares have been reissued, the balance remaining in the forfeited share account or forfeited account is closed by transfer to capital reserve account. The concept is, whenever there is a forfeiture, the company might have prepared a forfeiture account, and at the time of forfeiture there will be credit balances, so it will be recorded in the credit side of the forfeiture. Whenever the same shares are reissued, the share forfeiture will be debited. Sometimes it may be debited, credited, depends on the case we are discussing. Anyway, while preparing the accounts or dealing with a question, whenever there is a share forfeiture with regard to cancellation as well as reissue, definitely there will be debit and credit amounts for the share forfeiture account. So whenever you prepare a share forfeiture account, both the debit side and credit side will have some amounts. So it will be usually in 100% cases both the sides will have different amount. So as the basic rule for balancing the share forfeiture account, there will be a balance. That balance is transferred to the capital reserve account, and I believe you all know where to show the capital reserve account. And the journal entry for transferring the balance amount in the share forfeiture account to the capital reserve account is this one. Remember to pass this journal entry after dealing with a case that consists of forfeiture share as well as reissue. And previously I have mentioned about the concept of capital reserve, and I have mentioned that I believe we all know, or you guys know, where to record the capital reserve account. The capital reserve is to be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet under the head reserves and surplus. So remember that capital reserve may be utilized for writing off capital losses. Usually the company may maintain a capital profit or capital reserve made to meet the capital loss. Capital losses means losses with regard to any investment on assets like that. It is or it may be the difference between a selling price or purchasing price of any of the capital assets. Anyway, any change in difference in the value of the capital asset, that is known as capital losses. Capital losses means we will be suffering any loss due to the difference in the price amount, or it may be the purchasing amount or the selling amount. Anyway, for a best example will be the case of a real estate, such as an investment or a real estate. Whenever we might have invested in real estate, and because of the recession or because of the COVID issues, the value of the land or the real estate property which we might have held, the value diminishes, or there will be a decrease because of the adverse market conditions like that. So due to that situation, our we have to suffer losses. Such losses is known as capital losses. That is reduction in the value of the assets, capital asset, especially capital asset. That is known as capital losses. Capital losses are inevitable because even if we are working very well, because of the adverse conditions like COVID or the recessions or depressions like that, we have to face capital losses. And in order to meet those capital losses, we use these capital reserves. That is why we are maintaining a capital reserve account. I believe we have discussed about the difference between capital reserve and capital profit in the beginning of this module. If you have any doubts with regard to that, go through those theoretical area. Okay, next one. When only a proportionate amount of forfeited share is reissued, the balance in share forfeited account would be added to the paid up capital of the company on the balance sheet. Until now we have discussed about the concept that Whenever there is a forfeiture, that is cancellation of shares, the company may reissue the same to the public. And sometimes, for example, a company might have cancelled 100 shares of a shareholder, and the company intended to reissue those 100 shares to the public. But instead of reissuing the entire 100 shares, the company only reissue 75 shares. So forfeited shares was 100, but the reissue was 75. So that there is a difference of rupees 25 worth of shares. So that shares has to be shown separately in the balance sheet along with the capital. That is a concept that is mentioned in the last sentence. Whenever only a proportionate amount of forfeited share is reissued, the balance in the share forfeited account should be added to the paid up capital of the company on the balance sheet. And here the sentence is very simple, because you have to consider that difference in the reissue and forfeiture. That is 100 was the forfeiture, reissue was 75, balance is 25. As per this sentence, that means you have to add the 25 number of shares in the capital along with the balance sheet. But from the practical point of view, there is some computation, because during the discount on reissue as well as the amount to be transferred to the capital reserve, such steps are there. At that time, you need to consider that difference in the reissue. That is, forfeiture was 100, reissue was 25. So while calculating further treatments with regard to forfeiture and reissue, you have to be very careful regarding the number of shares to be dealt while reissuing, because there is only 75 shares. Don't worry about it, we will discuss with each of these individual adjustments during the practical case. Anyway, remember, whenever there is a proportionate reissue of forfeited shares, you have to show the balance of the forfeited, that is, shares which were forfeited but not reissued should be added with the share capital of the company in the balance sheet. So these are the basic theoretical aspects with regard to reissue of forfeited shares at discount. Not only that, we have discussed about the concept of capital reserve account, that is, the amount in the forfeited account has to be transferred to the separate account, that is known as capital reserve account. So let us discuss some other aspects with regard to that. So let us discuss a case. Ex Limited forfeited 100 equity shares of rupees 10 each held by Mohan for non-payment of first call of rupees 2 per share and final call of rupees 3 per share. So out of 10, the certain person has paid rupees 5 on application and allotment and failed to pay 2 on first call and 3 on final call. So rupees 5 was paid by him with regard to application and allotment, but failed to pay rupees 5 on first call and final call. These shares were reissued to Kumar at a discount of 3 per share. Pass journal entries. So first of all, you need to pass the journal entry with regard to the forfeiture. Whenever there is a reissue, first of all, you need to pass the journal entry for forfeiture. In the question, they may not mention about that, but still you need to pass the journal entry for forfeiture. Chart out the pattern for the journal with date particulars, LF amounts, and first of all, the forfeiture entry. The entry will be equity share capital account up to share forfeiture to equity share first call, equity share final call, and the amount. See what was the total value of the share that is going to be forfeited. 100 shares held by Mohan of rupees 10 each, that is 100 into 10,000. Out of which he did not paid first call and final call, that is 2 plus 3, 5. He didn't paid 5. Out of 10, he didn't paid 5. That means he successfully paid the balance rupees 5. So to share forfeiture account, here you will have to show the amount for which the company actually received from that particular shareholder. Here Mohan paid application allotment worth rupees 5. So 5 into 100, 500. Next, from here onwards, you need to mention the name of that particular installment for which the shareholder failed to pay the installment amount. he didn't pay the first call. So mention the name to equity share first call. Value is 2, number of shares held is 100, so 2 into 100, 200. Next one, equity share final call, rupees 3 into 100, 300. And this is the entry for the forfeiture. We have learned about it, and don't forget to pass the necessary narration for that, being the forfeiture of 100 shares for the non-payment of first call at rupees 2 per share and final call at rupees 3 per share. So once the forfeiture entry is passed, next you need to pass the reissue entry. We have learned about the concept of reissue just now, and this is a case of reissue of shares at discount. So the entry is bank account debtor, share forfeiture account debtor to equity share capital, and how the amounts has been obtained. Here the shares were reissued to Kumar at a discount of 3 per share. So what was the actual value of the shares? Actual value of the shares is 10, and it was issued at a discount of rupees 3. So out of 10, rupees 3 is discount, means the remaining value of shares means 7, and for which the amount might have received by the company. So bank account debtor, the amount received by the company, that is rupees 7, because rupees 3 per share was discount. So 7 into 100, 700. And share forfeiture account, in the theoretical aspect with regard to reissue of forfeited shares at discount, we have mentioned that in order to mention or to show the amount of discount allowed on reissue of forfeited shares, you have to adjust that discount amount in the share forfeiture account. So instead of writing discount, we will write share forfeited account debtor. What was the discount amount? Rupees 3. How many shares? 100. So 300. To equity share capital, rupees 1000. Don't forget to pass the narration, being the forfeited shares are reissued at a discount of rupees 3 per share. So these are the entries that has to be passed with regard to forfeiture as well as reissue. And there is one more thing. Once the reissue is done, there will be a difference in the share forfeiture account, and that difference has to be transferred to the capital reserve. So here the share forfeiture account has a credit balance of rupees 500, now a debit balance of rupees 300. So the remaining amount in the share forfeiture account will be rupees 200. So share forfeiture account debtor, usually share forfeiture will have a credit balance account. Share forfeiture account debtor 200 to capital reserve 200. See, in the credit side there was 500, debit side 300. So the net effect, there is a balance of 200 credit balance. It has to be transferred to capital reserve. And finally, pass the narration, being the balance in the shares forfeiture account transferred to the capital reserve after reissue. So these are the entries that has to be passed with regard to the reissue of forfeiture. And in the theory section, we have mentioned that when the company reissue the forfeited shares in a certain proportion, that is only a part of the forfeiture are reissued, you can't easily find this balance amount by taking this difference. We can't do like that, because share forfeiture balance, this amount will be correct and this amount will also be correct, but we can't take the difference between these two, because here is the forfeiture with regard to 100 shares held by certain person, and sometimes the company might have reissued the same not for 100 shares, it may be reissued for 75 shares or 60 shares or 80 shares or 90 shares. Even if the company is reissuing only 99 shares also, there is an adjustment. We can't simply take the difference. That is the thing you have to consider while the company is reissuing only a portion of forfeited shares. We will discuss that during the advanced cases, but remember, you can't simply take this difference like we have done here in the case of partial reissue of forfeited shares. So just go through all these aspects, familiarize each of these cases we are discussing, and not only the cases, the entries and the narrations which we have discussed, and we will discuss about the further cases and the adjustment situations in the coming practical sessions. So go through it. If you have any queries, please let me know.